Hi, welcome back to Just an Everyday Fan. So, I got to thinking, this thing with Caitlyn Clark, the situation that she finds herself in now, clearly, and this is my opinion, Caitlyn Clark wants to stay in Indiana. I think she's comfortable there. I think she's comfortable with her family being close by. She's a Midwestern girl, and that's where her comfort zone is. I don't think she wants to leave the Indiana Fever because of those reasons. Now, I started thinking, what are Caitlyn's options? Because things aren't going, it doesn't appear on the surface that things are going really well for her. So I think Caitlyn still loves her team and her coach and the Indiana Fever and certainly the fans. I don't think that necessarily the team and the coach and the Fever still love Caitlyn. So I started looking into it because I wasn't sure on rookie contracts what that actually meant. So I dug into the contracts, I dug into the CBA, and it appears that Caitlyn would have one option and one option only. Now, she signed a rookie contract for the Indiana Fever in 2024. It's a 4-year contract because the contract is actually 3 years and then there's a team option on the 4th year. So Caitlyn is not going to be a free agent until 2028. That's a long time to stay on a team that doesn't respect you, doesn't want to surround you, support you, and play the way you want to play. So what are her options? Well, at first, it appeared she had no option at all. So on a rookie contract, the rookie cannot just walk away from the contract. They cannot buy out. They cannot do any of that stuff like a Dewana Bonner did, okay? There is one option. To break a rookie contract, 2 things have to occur. The Indiana Fever would have to agree to let Caitlyn go, and Caitlyn would have to agree and negotiate a certain buyout to be able to leave. At that point, Caitlyn Clark can leave the Indiana Fever. And she can go to someplace like New York. I know it's been rumored, so I'm using the Liberty as an example. So if those 2 things happen, Caitlyn could leave the Indiana Fever. Now, I asked y'all in one of my earlier polls, I took a poll and I said, what do y'all think? If Caitlyn Clark leaves the Indiana Fever, would you still watch the Indiana Fever? I wanted to know what the fans thought. It was probably 98% of all the fans that responded said, no Caitlyn, no watch. Meaning they're following Caitlyn Clark wherever she might go. Whether it's going to be overseas, whether it's going to be for another WNBA team, they're going to follow Caitlyn Clark. Next year is going to be interesting. And this could be a play for next year. So everyone's looking at this year, right? And the deadline's coming up in a couple of weeks for everyone to have everything locked down. And so kind of these trades are being shopped, and there's a lot of rumors out there about who's going where. I even heard a rumor, I think it was Mick, that said Hines Allen was coming up. They were trading for a 2027 or a 26 option for one of their draft picks to bring Hines Allen in for the Fever. You have Chloe Bibby, which we don't know what's going to happen. So I do believe that tonight might be Chloe Bibby's last night with the Indiana Fever. And if y'all don't know, this is a big game. The Mercury are coming to town. Dewana Bonner and team are coming to town, to the Indiana Fever, to Gainbridge. This is going to be a huge game. I think you're going to see the viewership is going to spike and hold its own. Not because of Caitlyn Clark sitting on the sideline, but because Dewana Bonner is coming back. So tonight, y'all tune in. It's going to be interesting. Is there going to be a standing ovation? Is she going to be booed? We don't know. We absolutely do not know how the fans are going to receive her after she did what she did, going down to Phoenix. Next year is just going to be a blowout, guys. It's going to be a blowout. I started looking up contracts again, and I looked at every team, and almost every team, with the exception of maybe one or two, I think maybe the Valkyries and Washington, because they had so many rookies. So they're in their rookie contract, and they're pretty much there until the team waives them, okay, for 4 years. Now, I started looking at all the other teams like New York, teams like the Lynx, teams like the Aces, and the Fever and the Sparks. There's Atlanta and Phoenix. There are absolutely anywhere from like 3, some have as little as 3, and some have as many as 8 or 9 players on that team. Of the 12, they're going to go into free agency. And we're talking huge players. We're talking Collier and Williams and Stewie and Anescu and Cloud and Jones and Phoebich and Shepard and Jewel Lloyd, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Kia Stokes. This just goes on and on and on. And for the Fever, I believe it's Kelsey Mitchell and pretty much all the team other than Caitlyn Clark and Aaliyah Boston, because they're both still in their rookie contracts. So we're going to have all of that. Now, certainly these teams are going to want to keep their star players. So what's going to happen? Well, they're going to have to figure out their cap space. Currently, they only have $1.5 million. Let's just call it 1.5. And most of these players are in the 200,000 plus range already. They're going to want more money. So they're going to go to super max at 250. We're just going to call it 250. The CBA is very important because they have to increase that cap space, because these players are demanding more and more and more money. And if they don't get it, there's a high possibility that they're going to transfer to another team. Because a team like the Valkyries that has an enormous amount of cap space because they have low-paying players on board, mainly, they could pick those top players up and they could pay them their max contract without any effort at all. So now we have that, plus we have 2 additional new franchises coming on board, Toronto and Portland. And we already know every single team has got to give up players to those organizations. So next year is going to be explosive with all the trades, with all the releases and the waves and the pickups and everything that's going to go on. It's going to be in my opinion, it's probably going to be one of the most, and I haven't been here for other years, but this is kind of panning out to be 2026 is going to be one of the most up in the air, explosive playmaking for both sides, right? The players and the organizations. I think we're going to be surprised as to how everything shakes out with these contracts. So now there's another issue. So if the CBA comes through and they are able to get an increased cap space, which I think they will, just don't know how much the increase is going to be. I thought a good increase for the cap space was double, but I think you're probably looking at probably 2 to 2.5 million per team. That would probably be my guess at how it's going to shake out. It's going to be interesting. So grab your popcorn and have a seat for 2026. Now, these next 2 weeks are going to be crucial because now you have this deadline for all these trades. So these teams are already out shopping. And we don't know this unless someone has an inside scoop, right? To what these organizations are doing on the back end, who they're trying to shop, who they're trying to get, who they're trying to release, what their game plan is. So here is the big game of chess. And if the Indiana Fever want to be a contingency organization, they need to make their moves. And I'm talking moves like possibly Turner filling that 12th position that's been open. Maybe even Dantas and maybe even Colson. I think Colson is at 90, which, yeah, she's at 90,000. We have Howard at 215,000. And of course we have Kelsey Mitchell at a super max. She's maxed out. And then there's Cunningham at 100,000. And then everybody else is 88 and below on the team. Now, my guess is if Chloe Bibby works out, Stephanie might say, hey, stay with us till the end of the year. Here's your contract. Here's your deal. She can get her on the cheap. I mean, let's face it. Chloe is already on the team. She's already there. She doesn't want to go back. She wants to play in the W. So she's going to take bones, scraps, to stay there with the Indiana Fever. And I saw a interview that said, you know, they were asking Chloe what her type of playing was. Well, it was run and shoot. Well, that's kind of Caitlyn Clark's type of playing, which we all know Stephanie White doesn't want that type of playing on the team. It's a different type of playing. But is she willing to pick her up on the cheap, to have an extra person, to have the height, to have the agility? Because let's face it, in her first game, Chloe did pretty well. I think she did pretty well. I mean, she picked up, 8 points, and she made her free throws. I think she picked up a block or a steal. So she was actively defending on the floor. I think if you're Stephanie White, I think you offer her an end of the year. If you saw the Wings game the other night, guys, I got to tell you, the Wings are putting a show on. The Dallas Wings are gelling. That was a fantastic game. No one can say that team is not putting the right pieces together. Paige Beckers is incredible. She's absolutely incredible. And it seems like the Dallas organization is building A team for Paige Beckers. Unlike the Indiana Fever, they've brought on a lot of people who seem to want that first position, Caitlyn's position. There's a lot of tension. It seems like there's just a lot. And I don't know if it's just social media getting involved and causing the friction. But when you look at the game, when you look at the players, when you look at the interaction, it's just not there. It's not there. With Caitlyn Clark, it's just not there. It's like Caitlyn's on an island all by herself. And I have no clue when she's coming back. But I look forward to her coming back. And if she doesn't come back, maybe she's trying to make a move for next year. Don't know. Maybe they are looking at releasing Caitlyn because they want Stephanie White to stay. And it seems to be that that's maybe a conflict. Caitlyn still thinks Stephanie White supports her. Everything that I've seen this year tells me a different story. So jury's still out on that one for me. What do y'all think? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.